I've been previously working, I started my career in tech support, and then I moved recently. Just before this, I started working as a customer success manager for InstaHire. So it was a hiring based platform company, just like Naukri. So my background is always towards non-tech side of it. From technical side, I just had very little experience in college, just like learning coding and those things, just for educational purpose. And then that is when I started exploring new aspects on new things as well, and product management caught my eye. And so now I transitioned my career from a customer success manager to associate product manager. It's not the traditional type of product management, I would say. It's called something called as platform product management. It's a bit more technical than regular product management, but not too technical as technical product management. It's in between, but when it relates to the difficulty aspects of it, it's very difficult compared to a technical product management also. The things that the day-to-day activities and the things that we do in our job. Well, I recently started about 3 months, and it was very overwhelming for me at the beginning stages, considering that there was so much information that I needed to process, and most of them were also in technical aspects of it. And yeah, so I was dealing with a lot of ambiguity also. And since I'm working with one of the MNC startups, the things that moves on a very fast pace. So me trying to keep up with all the technological aspects, learning the platform, understanding the product, and how it's built, how it's going to work, how the customers are using, who our customers are, and how are we getting paid, what are the multiple fronts that a platform is able to uh, bring in different applications, right? Just to give you an example, we as a single platform, we enable multiple products to work seamlessly through the single platform. So just to understand all these products, I was in general sense, if a product manager is hired to our company, right, just a product manager, he or she would be working on just one product. But as a platform product manager, we'd be working on all the products. We need to know the ins and outs of how everything works, so that we can give a smooth experience to the application side of team. So that is where I find a lot of challenge. But I've been constantly learning and getting a lot of information from my peers as well. That is where things have been helping also, and the things that I learned in the past also are something relatable, especially the engineering chapter from what was taught, right? That was really helpful from INSEAD part. And also the first very chapter, I forgot the names of the chapter, I'm really sorry. It was taught by Shailendra. He was really amazing. He actually set the tone for me, and how to think like a product manager rather than just a manager or anybody from a different background also. It's more to how to think like one as a product manager is where I learned it from him, and that's been really smooth. That's been really helping out for me. So this is what I've been learning a lot since the past 1.5 year. I was, but one thing that I left out is to understand that there's something existing as a platform product management. But once I started exploring these nuances of product management and how things work, that was really helpful. Like I said, right, the engineering chapter primarily, and the first chapter, how to think like a product management, how to go about your day as a product manager, how to work cross functionally with the teams. Because in my previous role, it was not that cross functional. So we would interact with our clients, get the feedback, and then share it across a documentation to the team, to our product managers also in our previous company, and they would take it forward from there. And if there was any necessary for us to get back to the client, we would do that along with the product manager also. But here it was far more diverse. I had to connect with a lot of teams. I have to get them on, to agree to come on a meeting. And also the one thing that Thailander also told me is the constant fights that happen between the product management and the development team. And luckily, so far, I haven't experienced this, but I have seen this sort of thing happening in the corporate world also, where the disagreement between the development team or the client facing role teams to the product manager also, and how we have to get them aligned to what the business needs are. Sometimes when a single division is working, they'll be looking towards getting their part of the business right, rather than considering the whole aspect of the company, what is required from each and every side. That's where the product manager comes in, right? And trying to set everybody on a right track, which is a middle ground for both the developers and the product managers, or the business needs, and for the customer success teams to the product manager also, is something of a challenge that I found. And these things that I learned in INSEAD, where Sailendra was very explanative about it. He gave a lot of examples also. Those were really helpful. I learned those things which I can relate to now, and make use of those as well. This is one role where you learn a lot, and you need to keep learning a lot. It's not as overwhelming as for somebody who's scared of technology, or would say because I can personally relate to coming from a non-tech background, right? If it's thinking about learning coding or something related to that, it's not that type of learning that you would do. It's more to do with how the business works, how to manage people, and how to think differently, and to bring in different aspects and different ideas into product management. So after becoming a product manager, I started sharing my opinions and thoughts more often than I used to do in my previous roles also. Yeah, just learning is a big yes, and there's always a constant learning here. So the interview experience was actually something really great, and at the same time it was very fast as well. So I applied, and after 1 week or so, I got a call on a Friday, and they told me that we would like to go ahead with the interview, and they wanted to schedule it on a Monday. So I had the weekend time, but INSEAD was the program where we can do mock interviews. I wanted to apply for it, but the time frame, since it's a weekend and everything, I couldn't get the mock interviews done. But I tried other sources also to prepare myself for these interviews, and the interviews were challenging. What I would say is there is a certain set of etiquette a candidate should follow in terms of interviews compared to any other role. So you would be dealing this interview in a completely different manner. It all starts about how you would introduce yourself into the job role that you are applying for. And the interviews also, there are so many examples on YouTube and even on INSEAD page also, how the interview goes. So I would say that it's not something that you can jump into and then give an interview. You will need to give a lot of interviews, mock interviews. That would be the best way to prepare yourself for such interviews. And the interview was really challenging as well. And at the same time, it was all about taking time during the interview process. And it's not just about, as soon as they ask the question, you go back with an answer. No, you can take your time, you can jot down the information and get back to them. And if you need more time, you can let them know. Or sometimes you also feel scared that you're taking too much time and what the interviewer would be thinking that way. So in those times, you can tell them that, hey, I'm working on this, I'll need an additional 10 seconds, 30 seconds, or whatever long time is there, just to keep the engagement between going. And yeah, so the more involved you are, rather than just don't jump to the solution of the problems or the interview that they ask. Think about the problem first, and then the solutions will come. Even if you don't get to the solutions, it's completely fine. Nobody would expect to give a solution for a business problem over an interview in a matter of minutes. If that was as simple as that, then why would businesses be so slow, right? They would have sorted out first. So it's all about understanding the problem and taking it one step at a time. So we had a couple of rounds of interviews. One was the first technical round, and then I had technical round has a few questions about, hey, build a product for a blind person so that he or she can transit from the bus stop to his home or anywhere he needs to get by. So that was the scenario that we wanted to build a product on. And then we had a second round of interview where it was more to do with more technical, understanding the problems and giving more difficult scenarios to go with the problems, and how you can, it's all about the interviewers trying to gauge how fast you can understand the problem, and how you can, give follow-up questions. They start with a very ambiguous statements. You need to dig in more, you need to ask questions back to them and get the answers from them, so that you are sure that you are understanding the question right. So that's how the things went. And then there was a take-home assignment where we had to create a PRD. So that was again a very helpful thing. I learned a lot of templates and, how to start PRDs and how to write PRDs. So those PRDs which I wrote and submitted is everything that I learned from INSEAD itself. And after I submitted the PRD, I got a final call from the HR to discuss about the salary. That was pretty much it. There was 4 rounds of interviews and everything went well and really quickly as well. It was all done in a matter of 2 weeks. So when I decided to actually transition my career, there were a lot of opportunities out there, a lot of platforms that were offering product management. So I actually compared a lot with other platforms also. But one thing that caught my attention with INSEAD is for you to start with that 3-month package. I don't know the entry level program. I forgot that. So that was, very economical for me in the beginning. I wanted to give that a try, the 3 months, because I was also pursuing my MBA during this phase. So studying MBA, working, and I didn't know whether I could also pursue INSEAD product management. So when I spoke to the representative, they told me that there'll be recorded session. That was a win-win situation for me. And so I also started the 3 months program to see at the end of 3 months, I wanted to gauge myself if I can continue on this role or if there's something that I wanted to do. That's why I primarily chose INSEAD. And after the 3 months, even before the end of 3 months, after I had the session with Sailander, I was completely sold. And the way he explains things is really brilliant. He's a great personality to interact with also. And when he keeps talking, you just want to listen. He's that knowledgeable and he gives you a lot of information that you can soak in and use in the future also. And so after that session, I started I decided, okay, I'm going full width for this, and I got my PGP also, extended the program to PGP. And ever since, I've been learning, but now since I joined into product management, I haven't come back to this part of learning a bit. But I'll definitely be finishing the course. One major thing is that, as a product manager, your mindset is completely different from any other job roles that you would understand. As I've told previously also in this session, you need to get into that thought process, or you need to have that mindset set right to be a product manager. And it's not something that you can change overnight as well. But you also need guidance for this, on how to set your mind right, how to think like a PM, how to act like a PM, how to delegate yourself as a product manager. So this is something that I really learned well in the very first chapter, and that is still stuck in my head, and it's going really well. Even in my current role, I'm able to relate to it. I'm able to apply all those things, and certain things also, from the engineering perspective, or from the UI perspective, from the customer perspective, what are the things that we need to do, and how to balance between business and tech, or how to balance between business and the different teams that are working out too. So thinking like a product manager is one definite first, and then the technical skills, that the minimum technical skills that I needed to learn in order to keep myself engaged and have a meaningful conversation with the developers and not make myself look like a fool, is something that also again learned here from the engineering chapters. Also, product management is a really rewarding career, and it's really amazing also the type of work that you would be doing. It's really good. Again, it's not for everyone, I would say. The pressure or the job role itself can be very overwhelming. So do a bit of research, interact with a lot of product managers, and consider it, take step by step guides. And learning is constant in this field, and don't be overwhelmed when I say learning, that it's not the educational institutional level of learning. It's all about learning new things, looking at what other people are doing, what your competitors are doing, and to keep yourself constantly evolving as a product manager as you go. And definitely prepare for the interviews can be completely different from what other interviews that non-technical side of things can be, or even the technical side, software developers interviews can be. Preparing interviews would be really great, and watching as many YouTube videos or educational content that you can consume related to product management, that's also would go a long way in helping you crack product management and also smoothly in getting into. Apart from this, there is one book that really helped me. It's called Product Management Simplified, a toolkit to becoming a PM. That's the name of the book. That book really helped me, and it also gives you that confidence that you can crack such interviews, or you can get into this role and do better for yourself as well. But yeah, anybody who's trying to pursue product management, I would really advise go for it. It's a very rewarding career.